to Scotland, we'll look back in Europe, various talking points, if indeed we can fit them in. But the football, no doubt, will be the biggest of those. Motherwell Hearts to come right now live. St Mirren against Celtic. It is Pat Bonner, Stephen Thompson, and match commentator Al Lamont.
Thank you very much, Richard. Welcome to the Smythe Stadium. St Mirren try to halt the Celtic juggernaut. An ominous task with the champions in a rich vein of form. St Mirren were one of very few sides to take points off Ange Postecoglou's men last season. A goalless draw here in December. But Celtic are looking to make it 7 wins from 7 in the league at the start of a season for the first time since 2010. And few would bet against that happening this afternoon. St Mirren will line up in their traditional black and white stripes with black shorts and black socks. Celtic are in a change kit, a nice light grey top with the black shorts also and the light grey socks, as the two captains gather alongside Don Robertson, who's this afternoon's match referee for the coin toss. Callum McGregor, of course, the Celtic captain and ever-present virtually for them, and Mark O'Hara taking the armband this afternoon for St Mirren. And the players now gathering around the centre circle as we are about to have a minute's applause ahead of kick-off this lunchtime to mark the passing of Her Royal Highness Queen Elizabeth II. Don Robertson about to signal that. And so to the football. St Mirren against Celtic, the lunchtime kick-off here in Paisley. Motherwell Hearts is the later game. We'll have full commentary from that as well. But for now, the next 90 minutes or so, there is St Mirren looking to inflict the first defeat on Celtic of the domestic season. It is going to be easier said than done, that's for sure. Celtic look to continue their terrific start to the season. It will be the visitors to get us underway, and the captain Callum McGregor in the centre circle to kick things off. Don Robertson gives them the signal, and Celtic going from right to left as we look at it from the back of the main stand. And it's an early touch for Aaron Moy. As I mentioned, the Australian was here for a couple of years, 2010 to 2012, 30 appearances for the Paisley side, and he went on to a couple of really big moves in England and establish himself as a real superstar. Here's Taylor looking for Kyogo over the top, and Carson spills that. He grabs it before the Japanese striker can latch onto it. Declan Gallagher was there too, but an early scare there for St Mirren, but Trevor Carson able to gather. Stephen.
It was all under control, Alistair. It was all under control. Yeah, it was a long ball over the top. Declan Gallagher leaving it for Trevor Carson. A wee spill, but nothing to worry about.
Celtic picking up once more, and it's Greg Taylor who's been one of the real stars of Celtic's start to the season, in excellent form. Although it'll be difficult to pick out a Celtic player who hasn't been in excellent form, in fairness. Let's see how they perform with the half-dozen changes this afternoon. Moy crowded out there, and St Mirren pick up, and it's Bacchus. It will be a free kick to St Mirren. Bacchus was bursting forward. I'm not quite sure why Don Robertson felt he had to bring that one back, but it will be a free kick to St Mirren, more or less on the halfway line, and they'll just slow things down before Declan Gallagher launches the ball out to the left-hand side, diagonal ball, headed back in field by Tanser. Erichin plays the lobbed ball into the 6-yard box. Joe Hart easily able to take that and immediately bowled out to Greg Taylor coming down this left-hand side. Couple of minutes in, and Celtic and St Mirren are still level, but here's Maida chasing a long ball from Taylor. It's a tactic they like to use, Packy, over the top, looking for the pace of the likes of Maida, but that one was just overhit by Taylor.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got that lightning pace, and we did talk just before about Kyogo, that sometimes he drags people forward to create the space for himself, and then he's got that ability then to just drop a shoulder and go inside. And the same with Maeda, he likes to run inside. He's not a player who picks the ball up and likes to go with people. He almost uses that pace to create the opportunities for himself.
Here is Kyogo just inside the St Mirren half, plays it out to the right hand side, asking a lot of Abada, who's one of the players restored to the starting lineup, and another who has been in wonderful form, half a dozen goals for the Israeli, as the ball just drifts out for another goal kick to St Mirren. And,
I think Al, the issue that maybe St Mirren might have is that if the wing backs, which are playing wing backs, and they're pulled almost back into that sort of almost to make a back five, and then they have a full back coming high up the pitch also to make a 2v1, that's something, and the midfielders will have to help them out in some way, because they don't have, and the way they're structured, they don't have wingers themselves, and that could be an issue for them.
One of a few conundrums you would imagine St Mirren will have to solve if they're to come out of this game with anything resembling a positive result, as McGregor has it over on the right hand side. Just playing a little bit further forward this afternoon, Packy, with Aaron Moy in that sitting role for Celtic.
Yeah, I think he did very well the other night when he came on, albeit that Shakhtar was kind of almost on their knees at that point in time, and it gave him lots of opportunity to get on the ball in midfield. But he likes to get on the ball, he likes a pass, and he has got a penetrating pass in him too, which I like. And I think he's getting up to the pace.
He's a brilliant player. Aaron Moy, when he was at St Mirren, going back a long time ago, he was more of an attacking player, very, very skillful, great shot, but Celtic deploy him in that deep lying midfield role, and he's so composed and calm on the ball. He really is a calming influence in the middle of the park. Never looks flustered, takes the ball under pressure. He's an exceptional talent.
Throw in St Mirren on this near side. St Mirren right, 4 minutes in. St Mirren 0, Celtic 0. And you imagine that any opportunity they get to slow the game down, St Mirren will take it. Certainly as long as the game is goalless. The throw-in is taken up to Ayunga. He's got 5 goals himself at the start of this season, albeit 4 of them in the League Cup. His solitary strike in the league came in that 4-1 defeat by Aberdeen, but partner in Curtis Main, who himself has got a couple in the league already, which is double the tally he got in the league last season.
Yeah, it'll do his confidence no harm. I mean, he struggled for goals last season, but I think it suits him playing in a 2-up with Ayunga. Ayunga's impressed me since he arrived at the club. He's got pace, he's got a real physical presence.
Here's Strain in an advanced position for St Mirren, tries to get into the box. Jens is in the way. Taylor back to Jens once more, and Taylor picks up and slides it forward. He was caught there by Strain as he released the pass for Maida, and neither the near side official assistant nor Don Robertson noticed that, and it is throw-in.
Well, the near side official's 3 centimetres from it, so I'm not sure how he had missed it.
Yeah, it was just a late one, wasn't it, as he struck the ball. Whether they thought maybe that when he struck it, he can follow through and almost hit the player himself. Sometimes that can happen, you can go down. But in this instance, I think it should have been a foul.
Long throw-in being lined up by Declan Gallagher, right-hand side, 20 yards from the corner flag. Curtis Main goes and attacks it, but he gets a flick on, but only into the arms of Joe Hart, who's immediately out to the edge of his box, looking to launch a counter-attack. He tries to find Dyson Maida, overhits it, and it's out for a throw in the near side. 6 minutes in, St Mirren 0, Celtic 0.
Was that the shortest long throw you've ever seen, Packy?
But listen, they've got the two big guys up front, haven't they? Main's a bit of a handful also, not the tallest, but he certainly is a physical specimen. And then, of course, a young guy who's a big lad, and that's a good. They've got to get a ball forward early to those in good positions, and see what's made of young Stephen Welch, who's come back into the team, and of course Jens also.
Celtic have it, middle of the park. Callum McGregor on the halfway line, a constant in that midfield, regardless of changes elsewhere in the side. Just so reliable and so crucial to everything that Celtic do. Headed forward by Strain. Jens then nods it down to the left-hand side to Taylor, who's seen plenty of the ball in these opening exchanges. Back with Jens, the German central defender, plays it square to Stephen Welsh, who got Celtic's opening goal of the season in the win over Aberdeen. Out to the right-hand side it goes, and it's Abada playing it off Tanzer for the throw-in, which Ralston will take. A rare start for Ralston, who was so good last season, but he's found starts and appearances indeed have to come by, such as the form being of Josip Juranovic. But Ange Postecoglou saying before the game today that Juranovic, having played a lot of football, being given a rest this afternoon. Here's Taylor on the opposite flank, in for McGregor, just takes a poor touch, and it's cleared away by Charles Dunn from the edge of his penalty area. That was an opportunity for McGregor.
Yeah.
Unlike him to take the heavy touch. Here's Strain, just clips that forward, looked like a handball in the middle of the park. But play continues, no free kick. And Taylor just knocks it back the way to Welsh. Now Ralston on the halfway line. Forward for McGregor. Has to stretch, but brings it under control out to Abada on the right-hand side, 15 yards from the goal line. Plays a 1-2 again with McGregor. It's Abada coming in from the right-hand side, headed away by Dunn as Abada tried to feed it into the penalty area. Welsh wins it and it breaks to Taylor, sends it into the box. Turnbull attacking it, off target with a header. 8 minutes played, St Mirren 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, it was a good run into the box from Turnbull. Good timing. He just couldn't get proper contact on the ball, and that. But that's where the midfield is getting a little bit stretched from St Mirren's point of view. We've got a three in there. They've got to slide over one of them when Taylor or Turnbull gets the ball, and that opens up space for the likes of McGregor and Turnbull to operate in. And that time, McGregor getting in between the lines, so they have to be very careful how they do that.
Yes, St Mirren will be pleased if Celtic are putting balls into the box for the centre halves to go and attack. I mean, Dunn and Gallagher are both very, very big. All right, Turnbull made a late run into the box there, but they'll be pleased if that's Celtic's main threat today, is crosses into the box. It's the kind of intricate play when they play through you and between you that you need to worry about.
Here's Jens, just inside the St Mirren half, out to the left-hand side for Taylor. Back with Moy in the central area. It's a good ball forward for McGregor with his back to goal. Plays it to Turnbull and then back to the skipper once more. Taylor makes the run outside of him. It's back in field to Turnbull. Turnbull back to Welsh, just in the edge of the centre circle, out to the right-hand side as Celtic shift the ball quickly. It's Abada, leaves it for Moy, midway inside the St Mirren half. Plays a 1-2 with Ralston. Here is the Celtic fullback trying to take on O'Hara, who's gone out to the left-hand side. Gets a good challenge in on Ralston and knocks it out for a throw-in. 9.5 on the clock, still no goals. As Ralston takes the throw-in back the way to Welsh. In field it goes to Moy on the halfway line, back with Jens just inside his own half. And now Taylor coming forward and playing a 1-2 with Turnbull. Back in field to Moy it goes. Main trying to close him down. St Mirren finding it difficult to get close to Celtic. It's Turnbull for McGregor, just approaching the edge of the penalty area. Back out with Turnbull on the left-hand side. Taylor back to Turnbull once more, probing.
Yeah,
patient.
Just knocking that ball around after 1-2 touch passing. Just trying to get good movement also into the little spaces and not allowing St Mirren to get any possession whatsoever of the ball so far.
St Mirren managed to get it clear, but there's a slip there by Welsh, which allows O'Hara to pick up on the left-hand side for St Mirren. Clips it, looking for the run on Main. Younga will get there first, and he's turned it back across goal and is just behind Main. Otherwise, that could have been a real opportunity for St Mirren on a rare foray forwards. But Celtic mop up, and it's Jens. But a glimmer of an opening there, Stephen.
There was. I mean, both the strikers went for the same ball initially, which kind of caused the problem for them, because Younga eventually gets there, shows good strength, but when he does cross it, because Main had gone for the initial ball with him, he wasn't in a central position.
Here's Maida down the left-hand side. It's a good challenge. It's out for a corner to Celtic with 11 on the clock. Still looking for the first goal. And Maida will just leave this one for Turnbull to swing in. Left-hand side for Celtic. Abada comes in, offers himself short. Just one St Mirren player over to cover, which always feels a dangerous game, and the short corner is taken, and it's out to Moy. Edge of the penalty, curls one of it's over the crossbar by a yard or so, but Stephen Robertson not happy, and I assume that's because St Mirren were slow to get a second defender over to cover the short corner.
Well, you know, I have a different opinion on that. I think one can deal with the wide area. It's around the edge of the box, and that's what happened in that particular instance. They had one out, then the other went to go too late, went out, and then left a space on the edge of the box for Aaron Moy.
He should have done better.
Yeah, he should have done better.
He had so much time and space, and he really should be hitting the target there. He's only 19 yards out with, you know, the goal gaping in front of him. Just lifted it a bit. Yeah.
You know, I think one can deal with it and slow things down until you get organised. But if you rush out and your timing's not right, then you either go all the way to out, stop it, or you can just slow things down a little bit.
Is that a kind of a slightly more modern take on things, Packy? It always struck me that defensively you would always want to have two players out for a short corner, but I have noticed that teams nowadays perhaps doing that less so. Is that
well, the danger's always in the centre of your box, isn't it, or around the edge of your box, which we've seen in that instance. With two out, fine, they take it short, and you know, it's a 2v1. As long as the one out knows what to do, that he doesn't get sort of almost beaten too easily. You just got to slow things down until he gets a bit of help.
Abada into the penalty area, but it's an easy take for Trevor Carson at his near post. Poor cross in the end from the Israeli, who'd found a bit of space. Stephen Robinson right on the touchline, trying to organise his players. Ange Postecoglou out at the edge of his technical area as well, but in rather more passive modes. The Australian just keeping a quiet eye on how things are developing here 13 minutes in, and there are no goals yet between St Mirren and Celtic in this early kick-off on Sunday lunchtime.
I think Stephen Robinson will be really, really pleased with the start that St Mirren have made. Really pleased they've managed to contain Celtic. They've not really had an effort on goal so far. Having watched Celtic a few times this season, the starts that they make to games are usually breathtaking, so he'll be pleased to get to around about 14 minutes without really being troubled.
Is that as a result of the half-dozen changes, do you think, Packy?
No, I just think it's the way the St Mirren have they've dropped obviously the wing backs right back to make a 5. They've kept it 3. They've just slid over and got their timings and distances right. And then they've got a 2 up front. They've put a little bit of pressure as they're doing now on the 2 centre halves. So their structure is quite good. Whether they'll be able to do that throughout the game, and it's just can almost stop Celtic from cutting them up. They've tried a few balls over the top, Celtic, to get the runners going. That hasn't quite worked now. They're into their passing mode, and they're just working the ball, hoping for that moment that will come, but not the intensity that we've seen in the past. But I just think they're still very much in control of the game. But St Mirren working hard.
Certainly controlling possession. Aaron Moy's effort just a couple of minutes ago, the first real big chance as Taylor picks up though about 35 yards from goal, plays it out to the left hand side, came off a St Mirren foot, and it will be a throw-in on the Celtic left as the sun tries to force its way through the Paisley cloud. Taylor back to Jens, almost a quarter of an hour played, and we still await the opening goal. It's Jens on the halfway line, back to Joe Hart, who's midway inside his own half. I know it's a feature of the play that he's beginning to get more and more used to. He was uncomfortably admitted initially, being asked to come so far out, but it's part of the Ange Postecoglou way, and he's adapted. Here's Turnbull out to the right-hand side for Abada, edge of the penalty area. Ralston on the overlap, tries to cut it back. There's a toe out there from Charles Dunn to get it clear, and St Mirren will try and emerge here with Ayunga, and then strain out to the right-hand side for Main. Applause from the home fans as Main picks up on the halfway line, tries to go down the right-hand side. Taylor makes the challenge. Taylor wanted the throw in as well, but the assistant on the near side says no, it's a St Mirren ball. And Strain will just leave that for Marcus Fraser. Ryan Strain, one of the new signings here under Stephen Robinson, brought in from Maccabi Haifa, the Australian, and part of the growing Australian contingent in the Scottish game.
just in that going back to that instance, it's so important that St Mirren, when they do get possession, a little bit of possession, that they actually are able to hold on to it a little bit. And that, having the two strikers up front, and the last instance, it was Curtis Main that drifted out onto the right-hand side and was able to get a bit of space, and they were able to work the ball to him, and eventually got a throw in, and that took a bit of pressure off them just to get a bit of possession.
That's a good bit of play there by Strain, who anticipated the pass from Maida to Taylor and stepped in, and he's won his side of throw. And in fact, certainly the team now, Stephen, under Stephen Robinson, he's beginning to mould it into his own shape. And I think one of the things that's been spoken about is St Mirren didn't start the season well, but he's changed the way he was trying to play almost, and it's begun to bear fruit.
It has done. I mean, they look very organised. I like the two up top. It gives them an outball, it gives them a threat. Defensively, they've been very sound as well. Declan Gallagher coming into the centre of the park's helped.
Here comes Celtic though down the right hand side. It was a good bit of play from Ralston to find Turnbull and then Abada, but Abada overruns it and Erhard steps in on the edge of his own penalty and just knocks it back to Dunn just inside the St Mirren box, and contents himself with just knocking it out of play over on the far side.
That's when they struggle, Packy, isn't it? When they win the ball back and they're looking for an out ball, instead of trying to build the play, you know, in that instance they're just kicking it anywhere, and it gives Celtic the ball back.
Yeah,
and invites pressure once more.
Yeah, and I suppose going back to the question you asked earlier, Al, about, you know, the 6 changes, has it taken away? Of course, they're missing Jota, and he is the key player in that final third. We've seen Abada trying to take players on, hasn't quite worked yet. Maeda's different. He'll try to run you, but Jota's can go on the outside, inside. He's got the quality to beat, and he's missing at the moment.
Yeah, on the bench. Yeah, he's an option for Ange Postecoglou, depending on how things progress over the course of the afternoon. But we watched them, Packy, in Warsaw during the week. A couple of his jinking runs, not quite matched by the finishes, but at times he can be unstoppable, particularly against domestic defences, you would have to say.
Yeah, but it's so important to keep him fresh also. You know, the expectations on him is so vast every week that he has to perform and do all his creative stuff, and that's not easy.
O'Hara winning the ball well, but then running it out of play over on the far side. And it will be a Celtic throw about 10 yards inside the St Mirren half over on the Celtic right, quickly taken by Ralston back to Welsh, and it's Ralston once more, the luminous green boots on. No mistaking him for anyone else this afternoon, I'm pleased to say. Here's Jens forward for Taylor. Back in field to Moy, just on the edge of the centre circle inside the St Mirren half, closed down by Erhenby, gets the pass away to Welsh. Now it's Turnbull, midway inside the St Mirren half, just stepping out to the right hand side. Ralston's there with him. Backing out to go Turnbull. Ralston on the overlap once more, sends in a good cross. Maida meets it with the head high up in the air. He can't rise high enough to get it on target, and it will be a St Mirren goal kick. We've played 90 minutes in Paisley. It's St Mirren 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, it was a good cross, wasn't it? A bit of pace on it. Maida was just caught under the ball a little bit. Maybe if he was 3 or 4 yards further back coming onto that ball, Stephen, you can talk about that, but I mean, he was standing, wasn't
he? The quality of the ball in was excellent, and the pace is all in the ball, so he really just had to make contact. But he's not the biggest, is Maeda at the back post there. I think he just probably got under it a wee bit, but the quality of the ball in was good. Just for your notes, Al, there's 4 players with luminous green boots.
Yeah, I noticed that as soon as I said that about Ralston.
Well
I knew you would be the one to pick me up on that, though.
Okay.
Thankfully, none of them really look like Ralston, so
well,
hopefully I still won't get it wrong. But
no, there's every chance.
Just keep an eye on that, will you? Here comes St Mirren down the left channel. It's Main on the left-hand side of the penalty area, up against Ralston. Back it goes to Tanzer. Decent ball in. A younger climbs, couldn't reach it, but it will come to Strain. Strain knocks it back for Fraser. Fraser back to Strain once more on the right-hand side. Maida comes in, closes him down, prevents the cross coming into the penalty area, and prevents the corner by heading it out for a throw-in. And St Mirren, they are getting some joy coming forward.
It was an excellent ball in, and for me, I just felt a young guy's up against Greg Taylor there at the back post. They should have smashed Greg Taylor and, you know, really attacked it to try and get the ball. For me, he just didn't quite commit enough to the header. Taylor did quite well to put him off at the back post, but that sort of ball in, just go and take the player and the ball.
Declan Gallagher lining up a long throw in from the right hand side, just a few yards away from the corner flag. Again, it's aimed at the near post for Curtis Main. He's beaten, and it comes out of the box as far as Fraser. Fraser will try and loop it to the back post. Tanser was offside, and Celtic will have a free kick.
Yeah, he shouldn't be offside in that position. He's looking right along the line, and that was a good opportunity for them. He got into a good position, but just straight offside. And that, you're going back to that cross into the box. I think Steve is absolutely right. You're up against small fullback on this side. You've got, and Greg Taylor's decent in the air, by the way. He
yeah, but I mean, Younger's got about a foot and a half on him.
That's right. You've got to go and attack, and he picked up a great position, and he worked it really well. Laid it back, got across into the back post where he drifted off into that area. He should really be attacking the ball better than that.
Almost a quarter of the way through the game, still the stalemate. St Mirren come forward through Ryan Strain. Maida trying to get back at him. Strain gets the cross. It's a good ball, and it's knocked behind by Stephen Welsh. Evasive action required. Ayunga was lurking at the back post, and Welsh concedes the corner kick, and a promising move down the right-hand side for St Mirren.
Good move, really good move. Celtic a bit slack in midfield.
Yeah, it was Aaron Moy gave it away, which is
gave it
uncharacteristic of him. He doesn't normally do that, but the quality of ball in from Ryan Strain was excellent into a really dangerous area, and you have to say it was really well defended from Stephen Welsh.
Tanser to take the corner, left-footed from the right-hand side, swirling in on top of Joe Hart. A poor punch inside the 6-yard box. St Mirren trying to get the shot in, but Callum McGregor thumps it clear before they can do so. Kyogo trying to get onto the clearance, but St Mirren have it back. And it's done. He will go all the way back to his goalkeeper, but Joe Hart, Packy, didn't deal with that entirely.
What do you make of the one-handed punch, Packy? Should have
not
gone with two hands.
I never punch with me two hands, and I'll tell you why. I use one hand to almost create a bit of space for myself. Big guys like you just lean into you and use your other hand to punch, and he did. But he was under severe pressure from I think probably two players at that point. And he just didn't quite make the contact, but he got away with it.
That's
but I wouldn't condemn him.
You would promote the one-handed punch over the two-handed punch?
Yeah, depending on the situation. If there's a lot of players in around about you, just to clear the space. Maybe other instances where you have lots of space, you would maybe use your two fists.
Bacchus working hard to close down Callum McGregor, who gets the ball back to Joe Hart. He was fouled in the view of Don Robertson, though. And it will be a
just
Celtic.
let the game go, though. Celtic had possession.
Absolutely.
You don't need to bring it back. You're just stopping the flow of the game there.
A couple of times he's done that. Don Robertson. We are beyond the midway point in the first half as Moy lofts it long, looking for Kyogo. Tries to bring it down in his chest. Declan Gallagher with him, and it forces the miscontrol from Kyogo, who hasn't really had a look in so far this afternoon, as it remains St Mirren 0, Celtic 0.
Wonderful ball from Aaron Moy over the top. It's the first time really that we've seen that ball work, the penetrative ball through in behind St Mirren, but Declan Gallagher got over to cover Kyogo exceptionally well, and eventually it came off Kyogo's knee, I think. Out for a bye kick for St Mirren.
It was clever in that pass, wasn't it? He's
pass.
seen the space down the right-hand side of Declan Gallagher, what Kyogo just kind of peeling off, and he was able to float it into that area.
His first touch, it hit his shoulder, didn't it? He just didn't quite get it under control.
Goal kick taken by Trevor Carson over the halfway line up towards Ayunga, battling away there with Jens. Turnbull manages to pick up on the loose ball and feeds it to Ralston just inside his own half, over on the right hand side for Celtic, halfway line, and knocks it back to Jens. Jens coming forward and plays it to Taylor midway inside the St Mirren half. Out to the left it comes to Maida, up against Strain, back to Taylor on the left hand side still for Celtic, looking forward, finds Maida once more, plays it to Turnbull, but St Mirren have won it back. Strain's had a good start to the game, but he's given that one away to Taylor, who just clips it into the centre circle for Stephen Welsh at the halfway line, who immediately plays it out to Ralston, and Ralston finds Abada hugging the touchline on the right hand side, and it goes to McGregor. McGregor tries to poke that through to Abada once more. It comes off a St Mirren body. It's out for a corner on the right hand side. St Mirren 0, Celtic 0, 25 minutes in.
Yeah, just obviously they do miss Jota in that wide area. Maeda picking the ball up that time. He couldn't run, so he didn't have the ability then to go maybe beat the player and so on. And that's probably, if Jota was in the team, he would have that skill, that ability to come out of those.
Yeah, I'm surprised by this performance by Celtic. I know they've made a lot of changes, but it's definitely the most passive I've seen Celtic this season.
Yeah, passive also, and maybe they've got to up the tempo of the passing a little bit.
Yep.
You know, and try to take a little bit more risk, more penetrating passes.
Here's Taylor though on the left-hand side. McGregor just on the edge of the penalty area, back to Taylor. Get a shove there from Bacchus, and it will be a free kick. Bacchus thought he got away with that, but Don Robertson blows for the free kick, and it's a promising position for Celtic to have the free kick just a few yards in from the touchline on the left-hand side, about 15 or maybe 18 yards from the goal line. McGregor keen to take this quickly, and Don Robertson just slowing him down as he wants to make sure everything's in order. But Celtic got all the big boys up from the back as the wind picks up here in Paisley. Turnbull is the player over it. He'll take this one right-footed from the left-hand side. St Mirren trying to hold the line about 12 yards from Trevor Carson's goal. Two-man wall at the edge of the penalty area. Turnbull stands over it. McGregor is lurking at the edge of the penalty area, so St Mirren put a man on him. Turnbull sends it in. Jens hits the deck. It's headed clear as far as Moy. Moy out to the right-hand side for Ralston. Mark O'Hara with him, forcing him back the way, all the way back, in fact, to Joe Hart. The applause from the home fans as St Mirren's industry pays off once more. McGregor picking up on the halfway line, knocks it into Taylor. Halfway line, it's Moy square for Welsh. Welsh allowed to step forward a few yards and then plays it back infield to Moy. Moy gets turned and then goes back the way once more to Jens. Furthest player back for Celtic, barring Joe Hart. Maida on the left-hand side flicks it forward for Taylor. Taylor quickly closed down by Fraser and out for a throw into Celtic. 27.5 minutes played, still goalless. St Mirren working hard to keep Celtic out. And then Erhan's gone down off the ball. Turnbull, I think, was a player involved, and Don Robertson
That's got to be a yellow card, surely.
View of it.
Yeah, you can't push somebody no matter what happens.
I didn't see what Bacchus did to annoy Turnbull, but Turnbull pushes him to the ground. I'd be amazed if Don Robertson lets this one go.
Yeah, I think Bacchus was initially involved, but I think it was Erhan who was then shoved to the ground by Turnbull off the ball. I think Don Robertson's...
He has let it go, and he's very lucky, David Turnbull. Once you raise your hands and you push somebody, or you should be in trouble from that perspective, but he let it go.
Anyway, yeah, no yellow card shown thus far by Don Robertson as Joe Hart plays it out to Stephen Welsh, certainly brightening up here. But still no goals as Abada picks up on the edge of the penalty. It gets to McGregor. McGregor thinks about the shot, and Don Robertson thought about awarding the free kick initially, tried to play the advantage that time, didn't accrue, and he will bring it back for the free kick to Celtic right on the edge of the penalty area on the right-hand side, right on the angle, and it's quickly taken, and Don Robertson's going to pull that back, and it will be taken again.
Well, we can't criticise him this time for letting the play go. That's for sure. When we were criticising,
yeah, it was a foul.
It was a foul,
and he was given the advantage, obviously, to see if it would help Celtic. It didn't, and it's actually good refereeing to bring it back. Dangerous for St Mirren, this.
Yeah, right on the angle of the box on the right-hand side. St Mirren have got absolutely everyone back inside their own penalty area to try and see off the danger as we tick towards the half-hour mark. It's Turnbull, right-footed, standing over this. Plenty of light grey shirts of Celtic inside that penalty area. Jens and Welsh among them. Ralston too. Turnbull flicks it into the area. It's high in the air off the head of Erhan. It was back there doing the defending, and it's behind for a corner kick in the end as St Mirren deal with the initial danger, but they've got more potentially here to contend with. It would be a corner kick on the left-hand side to be taken by Abada. Right-footed, the young Israeli sends it in. The keeper gave him a good shout there, Curtis Main. I thought he was going to go up and meet that, but you could hear Trevor Carson from here, and Main left it, and it's gathered by Carson inside his 6-yard box. We played half an hour. It's St Mirren 0, Celtic 0.
It was a good shout, good communication, but I'll tell you what, it's a chance to take, isn't it? When you're going to go and head a ball from a corner, almost 4 yards at your near post, and you duck. That's brave, but it's obviously good defending between the two of them.
Curtis Main winning his side a free kick, being jostled and pulled there by Moritz Jens midway inside the Celtic half, and St Mirren now have a free kick of their own, and a chance for them to throw some of their bigger players forward. Declan Gallagher and so on, making their way up to the Celtic penalty area as St Mirren look to try and put themselves in front in a game in which they have certainly been largely on the back foot, but they've dealt with what Celtic have had to offer pretty well so far. As Strain prepares to take the free kick, very central area, midway inside the Celtic half. Celtic holding the line at the edge of the penalty. It's a poor free kick though. Turnbull easily able to head it away. Maida gets the touch away, but St Mirren will regain possession. It's Strain with a chance to try and redeem himself with a ball forward onto the chest of Ayunga. Couldn't bring it under control. Picked up by Moy. Taylor back to Hart. Just bounced off him, didn't it, at that time? Got to hold it in. Poor clearance by Hart. Bacchus can't bring it under control either though. And Welsh gets out to the right hand side. Untidy stuff there.
From both teams, you've got to say,
yeah.
they all had opportunities. Maeda in the first instance, when the ball broke, there was a poor free kick, and then the ball broke, and you could see him just maybe counter-attacking, but he couldn't get the ball under control. And then, of course, Mirren picking it up, and again, not getting it under control properly.
Moy finds Ralston, but Ralston lets it run to Abad out on the right-hand side. McGregor plays the 1-2 with the Israeli winger. Now it's back with Welsh out to the right-hand side. It goes to McGregor once more, midway inside the St Mirren half. 13 minutes left in the first period. Turnbull goes for goal. Out came Gallagher to block right on the edge of his penalty area, and O'Hara tries to just knock it down the left flank, but out of play for a Celtic throw-in. Good block that from Gallagher.
Really good. Yeah, really brave.
Saw the danger. Here's Turnbull once more, denied a second ago by that Gallagher block. I know that Gallagher has spoken about being back playing under a manager who he feels trusts him and hoping to get back to somewhere approaching his best. Here comes Celtic down the right hand side. McGregor into the penalty. Kyogo's shot is blocked again by Gallagher and swept away by Bacchus out of the penalty area, and over on the far side it'll be a Celtic throw, more or less in the halfway line. 33 minutes played. St Mirren 0, Celtic 0.
St Mirren doing ever so well. It's almost an unrecognisable performance from Celtic from what we've seen from them this season, but a large part of that's to do with the St Mirren work rate, the St Mirren shape, how difficult they're making it for Celtic to play through them. But yeah, Celtic miles off their usual standards.
Moy with a good ball to the back post for Maida. He's onside, he brings it down on the chest, comes out of the penalty area. Taylor now cuts it back, edge of the box. It's McGregor, closed down quickly by Strain. Taylor gets it back to McGregor on the right foot, shifts it to the left, gets the shot in, and it's blocked as well. Turnbull will pick up 25 yards from goal. McGregor once more, back to Turnbull. St Mirren getting bodies all around. Moy challenges Main, he fouls him, and St Mirren working ever so hard. How long can they keep this up? They've done well so far, certainly. And Main back doing the defensive duties for his side, winning them a free kick. 33 minutes played. St Mirren 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, I thought McGregor had a couple of chances to...
Should have shot on his right foot.
On his right foot, absolutely. Bend. We know that when you're on the left-hand side, you can put it round outside the post. But he checked back twice onto his left foot, and the defenders did well up against him. Really knew what he was doing, got a block in. Working hard, as Stephen says, the St Mirren team, and the confidence is growing because now they haven't lost.
Absolutely.
They haven't lost a goal, that early goal. Now they have something to build on.
Well, they did get that goal, as Shaw mentioned, last December. That's a long way to go, and it's not often Celtic fail to score. I think we'll check at half-time when the last time they did fail to score was. That as if Richard Gordon doesn't do it for me, but
Richard will be all over that, don't you worry.
Of course, he'll probably tell you off the top of his head, to be fair. Certainly in the league, it'll be a while back. As Taylor lofts it forward. There's an offside flag going up, but it was never going to...
He was never going to get it anyway.
Anyway, no, you're absolutely right. Packy and Maida well off that pass from Taylor. And again, Trevor Carson will just take his time as we move on to the 35-minute mark, and Stephen Robinson will be well pleased, you would imagine, Tom, with what he's seen from the side so far.
I mean, I've seen better games of football, but from a St Mirren point of view, I think that he'll be absolutely delighted. As I said, they're holding their shape well, the work rate's ever so good. He spoke before the game about the work off the ball being key, and St Mirren have done that side of the game exceptionally well.
It's pretty rare that St Mirren get a result against Celtic. They've won just one of their last 27 league meetings. That was at Celtic Park in January of last year, a 2-1 victory, but they've lost 23 and drawn the other 3 in that period. And it's back in 2010 was the last time they won here in the league. That's famous or infamous, depending on how you look at it. 4-0 victory that ultimately cost Tony Mowbray his job. Celtic having to defend right now. Taylor gets it clear, but McGregor's caught in possession. Now it's a younger, poor control from him. Erhan keeps it alive though for St Mirren. Taylor digs it clear up to the halfway line. Kyogo won't outmuscle Declan Gallagher. He'll give chase, and Dunn gives his goalkeeper a pretty tricky back pass to deal with. Carson closed down by Kyogo, but he does well, the goalkeeper, to launch that left-footed up towards the halfway line. Main is fouled again, this time by Ralston. It will be another St Mirren free kick, more or less in the halfway line. 9 minutes to the interval. St Mirren 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, it was a tricky back pass, but the modern goalkeeper, they can deal with those.
Could you have dealt with that, Packy?
Of course.
No chance.
Packy with a Cruyff turned.
I can't actually remember.
No,
were you a ball playing goalkeeper? Were you good with the ball at your feet?
I didn't have to do that. I could cut.
Oh, you could catch the ball. Yeah.
Catch it.
You wouldn't have made it today.
Here comes St Mirren down
I would
the
have
right-hand
adapted,
side.
Stephen.
Correct.
Taylor in the way. Cross comes Bacchus to close him down. Another of the recent Australian call-ups for the friendlies upcoming against New Zealand. Keanu Bacchus. Taylor has the throw in about 15 yards from the corner flag on the left-hand side. Takes it into the feet of Turnbull. Turnbull tries to swivel his way down the left-hand side. He's done well. He's holding off Erhan, and he was being fouled. Reckons Don Robertson. You have the free kick deep in Celtic territory.
Yeah, there wasn't much in that either.
No.
And that, you've got, it's a physical game. He was up against him. I don't think he really fouled him too much, but he had nowhere to pass the ball to David Turnbull, and he gave it away. So the referee did him a favour.
Here's McGregor, closed down by Ayunga. Yents now for Ralston, who's inside the centre circle. Plays it out to the right-hand side to Moy. Moy turns away from O'Hara. Back in field to Ralston. Now McGregor steps away from Erhan. Out to the right-hand side he goes. Moy picks up once more. Flicks it forward for Ralston, who's got forward. Back with McGregor. Midway inside the St Mirren half. Right-hand side. It's Greg Taylor picking up. Now Moy on the right-hand side to Ralston. Chance to send that into the penalty area. It's too strong for Myra. He won't catch that at all, actually. It's gone out for a throw-in on this near side. And Celtic, Packy, as Stephen says, just not quite at their best so far.
Yeah, and they've just made a kind of a tactical change or positional change, you've got to say, in the middle of the pitch. I think we'll see how it develops, but McGregor has stepped back into Aaron Moy's position, and Aaron Moy's gone a little bit further forward, and that might be just to increase the tempo maybe of the passing a little bit.
I'm actually amazed that we're at 38 minutes and we've not had a shot on target, and you've got to applaud St Mirren for that, but as we've said throughout this first half, Celtic are nowhere near. I'd be amazed actually if there wasn't changes at half-time for Celtic to try and bring a bit of impetus into this game for them, because they've been flat.
We've got 6 minutes to try and find a bit of impetus before that's required. Here's Ralston, right-hand side, sends it in. Kyogo takes it in the chest. Away it goes from Gallagher, who's played well at the heart of that St Mirren defence so far. And here comes St Mirren on the counter. It's Ayunga for Strain. Strain plays it down the right channel where Ayunga's continued his run. Marshalled all the way by Welsh. Ayunga trying to hold him off at the edge of the penalty area. Bacchus now picks up. He's slipped it back through looking for Ayunga, but Callum McGregor read the danger and picks up. Ayunga slides in to prevent the clearance. The St Mirren fans enjoyed that. Strain now up against McGregor down at the corner flag. McGregor sees that out for a goal kick. And it remains with 5.5 minutes left in this first period. St Mirren 0, Celtic 0.
Good play again from Ayunga, offering up the channel run, held it up well. Eventually it was given away, but his work rate to close down Callum McGregor was exceptional. And you always get a big cheer from the home support if you make a sliding challenge, and he's working ever so hard off the ball, as are the whole St Mirren team.
Well, that's what you both were saying prior to the game, that they would have to do. Stephen Robinson also acknowledging that. Here's Greg Taylor, left-hand side though for Celtic, as they look for that opening goal. Back post ball is headed away by Tanzer. It'll go for another corner kick out on the right-hand side, which Abada is eager to take as quickly as possible. Moy across there, and this time St Mirren do send two defenders out there, but the short corner is taken nonetheless. Moy into Ralston, back with Abada. Abada trying to weave his way in from the right-hand side into the penalty. He goes down, but no foul. Moy now teases it in. Fraser with a header clear. He could have left that for his goalkeeper or brought it under control. Eventually it does find its way to Trevor Carson. and with 4.5 minutes left on the clock in this first half. It's still goalless in Paisley.
Yeah, I think Stephen's right. You know, what changes would you make? They won't change the shape too much. I think it's just a personnel change. Maybe get Jota onto the pitch.
I think Matt O'Reilly's a miss as well.
Matt O'Reilly, yeah, absolutely.
Hatate, I mean, Haksabanovic, Giacomakis. There's endless changes that Ange Postecoglou could make, and I'd be surprised if he didn't make a few.
I did say before the game maybe the bench would be an important part, and I know that St Mirren have got a lot of experience on the bench, but they don't have maybe the I suppose the creative quality that Celtic have on that bench.
Well, not many do it.
Maida infield for McGregor. Back the way he goes to Jens. Jens closed down by Ayunga. And back once more to Joe Hart on the edge of his penalty area. Jens picks up once more. Turnbull infield to McGregor, back with Jens, who I noticed is the highest passing completion rate in the Champions League packet, up there above the likes of Rodri and Verratti.
Wow.
Here comes Abada down the right hand side into the arms of Trevor Carson with the cross. A comfortable take for the goalkeeper. Well, I was reading that Jens considers himself one of these defenders who likes to build from the back, and certainly that statistic
I think he's impressive. I think he's been impressive since he's come. He's up against a couple of big, strong attackers today, and from a defensive perspective, he's done nothing wrong so far, but I think he will pass the ball.
Here's Bacchus for Strain on the right-hand side. St Mirren clips it to the back post. In comes O'Hara! St Mirren in front! The captain, Mark O'Hara, rises at the back post. And having mopped up so much pressure in this first half, St Mirren make the breakthrough just before half-time. It's St Mirren 1, Celtic 0.
It's a fabulous cross, and it really is. Ayunga does well initially to link the play. The ball comes out to Ryan Strain on the right-hand side here, who's been excellent in this first half, and he knew the cross he had to play. He hung it up at the back post, and Mark O'Hara's timer of his run into the box is superb. Unchallenged, rose powerfully to head it past Joe Hart. Fantastic, and you have to say, no more than St Mirren deserve in this first half. They've been absolutely brilliant. All right, they've not carried a threat going forward too often, but neither have Celtic.
Yeah, that ball into the box, it was a loopy cross all the way, but it's a perfect, as Stephen described it, the perfect run, timing, and attacking the ball with pace and getting your head on it. We've seen a couple from Celtic and they were driven across, maybe not getting his timing right. In this instance, had a brilliant run into the box, and I think he was outnumbered, Turnbull, at the back post.
Well, this wasn't necessarily in the script, but St Mirren, they have worked so hard. They have had openings from time to time, and what they will be desperately keen to do now is ensure they get into half-time with this one-goal lead intact. A second goal of the season for Mark O'Hara, first in the league, as Curtis Main loses out to Jens. And here's McGregor, a minute left of the opening 45. Not too much, I wouldn't imagine, in the way of added on time, as Ralston clips it forward, looking for Maida, headed away by Fraser. Taylor nods it down for McGregor. At the edge of the penalty area, it's Turnbull, swivels, but he's outnumbered, and Erhing gets out to this near side to Curtis Main. Main tries to play the ball forward, but Jens will pick up and gets it back out to the left-hand side for Taylor. Taylor infield for his captain, Callum McGregor. Celtic haven't had to face too much adversity in the league so far this season, but they do now. How will they react? It's Ralston infield for McGregor. Abada's gone down on the edge of the penalty area, off the ball. Play continues. It's Moy. Moy just tries to dink it in for Turnbull, right-hand side of the area. Moy gets the shot away, blocked again by Gallagher. He's been in the way of several efforts so far. Comes back to Turnbull, right-hand side of the box. Abada gets the header and loops over the bar onto the roof of the net. Came off as a Mirren head, and it will be a Celtic corner just before the break. 1 minute of added on time. St Mirren 1, Celtic 0.
Yeah, both players are down. Obviously a clash of heads. Yeah. It was good defending, I've got to say. We've seen Abada score in those positions before, getting across people, but it was really good defending. Put your head in there where it hurts. And it's a corner for Celtic, but that might shake Celtic up actually in one way when you look at it from a different point of view. But it's the team talk from Ange Postecoglou is going to be critical to get them.
Turnbull corner into the near post, away by Main. Moy tries to keep it alive, gets it back out to Turnbull. 30 seconds of stoppage time remaining. Forward ball from Turnbull's cut out by the goal scorer O'Hara at the expense of another corner out on the right hand side. Perhaps the last chance of the first half for Celtic to draw level. Turnbull will try once more from the right hand side. St Mirren have defended ever so well in this first half. Can they keep it up? Turnbull swings it in. Jens tries to attack it. There's bodies on the ground all over the place. Still it's back in. Kyogo gets his head to overhead kick, comes in, but it's over the top. And Abada with the final effort of the first period, and the home fans rise as Don Robertson sounds the first half-time whistle. And what a first half it's been for St Mirren, defending superbly and springing the surprise of the weekend so far as Mark O'Hara rose at the back post to nod home. Ryan Strange crossed to the back post. Jota is out getting himself ready, you would imagine, for a second half introduction already. Celtic have to improve in this second period. Aaron Moy's shot from the edge of the box over the crossbar, really all they have to show for their effort so far. St Mirren have been immense. At half time it's St Mirren 1, Celtic 0.
St Mirren versus Celtic.
Oh, it's a goal!
Live on Sports Sound.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
On BBC iPlayer.
Enter a world of ice. Plunge into the coldest water on Earth, where 200-year-old giants rule. March with 1 million penguins. And swim 400 miles to find your next meal. This is life in the extreme. Frozen Planet 2.
Watch on BBC iPlayer.
You're listening to Sports Sound here on BBC Radio Scotland. Over the course of the weekend, Scottish football has been attempting to pay its respects to the late Queen. The Celtic fans in Paisley rolled out a banner. They chanted during the minute's applause before the game. We will bring you any official reaction to that later in the programme. 1-0 it is for St Mirren. Mark O'Hara with a powerful header to beat Joe Hart at the back post. And in answer to Al and Tomo, I think Pat as well, who were talking about it during the first half there, not since the 27th of February have Celtic failed to score in a league game. That was a 0-0 draw away to Hibernian. That was 16 matches ago. They have been averaging just over 4 goals a game in league matches. But Pat, you said beforehand, it's going to come. There will be one of these days where they're just not quite hitting the mark. Wow, this is the day so far, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't remember Trevor Carson having a save, really a save to make in the game, which is unique this season anyway. But there was games before we watched them where they had lots of possession and so on, but they weren't able to create. And that's one of those days, I'm afraid. They haven't been able to cut St Mirren open. St Mirren they've tried a few balls over the top early on in the game for the pace of Kyogo and Maeda, but that's been it really. When the ball's gone wide to Abada, he hasn't been able to really get himself into a position where he looks as if he's going to have a strike on goal. Everything's maybe crossed in, has been blocked. It's been too slow. Armoy, they changed it in the middle of the pitch. They put Cal McGregor back and Armoy further forward. I think they will definitely. I see just in front of me Jota out with his top off, and he's ready to come into the game. And I would assume that's maybe going to be the change. Whether it happens right at half time or happens a little bit into the second half, but they need to get something going. The team talk of Ange Postecoglou now, or has chatted at half time, will be reminding them of that sort of ability and intensity that they've been playing early on in the season. If you drop that, as I said before the game, if you drop it down, it gives teams an opportunity. But St Mirren have been great, and Stephen will talk about it. Their organisation, they've got through that period early on in the game. They didn't lose anything, and then you could see them start growing in confidence. And it was a brilliant goal, I've got to say.
It was a brilliant goal, Stephen Thompson, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was never in doubt, this, was it really? St Mirren have been excellent. As I mentioned throughout the first half, Celtic, having watched them a few times this season, are miles off it. They're miles off their normal level of performance. However, you have to credit St Mirren for that. And as Stephen Robinson said before the game, the work they do off the ball is going to be so important, imperative. And the work that they have done off the ball has been excellent in terms of their organisation, in terms of closing Celtic down when they're on the ball. They're not allowing Celtic any time in the ball. And the kind of intricate passing movements that you see Celtic doing so often just haven't been there, because St Mirren have closed all the angles, closed all the gaps, really played superbly well. And all right, you know, you're not going to get a lot of chances, you're not going to get a lot of the ball against Celtic, but the quality of the goal for me was absolutely outstanding. I think Ryan Strange had an excellent match down this right-hand side in the first half, put in 3 or 4 really decent deliveries. He's defended well as well, but the ball he put in, for me as a striker, it was absolutely perfect, because he's either got to flash it across the front post really low and hard, or he's got to stand it up to the back post with enough height to allow players to come in and attack it. And the ball in was perfection, and the timing of the run from Mark O'Hara and the aggression to go and win it. Nobody else was getting in front of him, was absolutely outstanding. The big question for St Mirren now is there's going to be a reaction from Celtic, there's going to be changes. I wouldn't have imagined that Ange Postecoglou's had to give too many rockets at half-time team talks in his time as Celtic manager, but I'd imagine the Celtic players will be getting one now. You can't be too harsh on Celtic, because the level that they've been playing at for such a sustained period of time has been exceptional. It has been really exceptional. So as human beings, as professional athletes, you're not going to beat your best every single time. And this occasion, Celtic have been flat. They've not been at the levels that we're used to seeing from them. Will the changes that he makes bring the impetus to the side that we're so often seen this season? But looking at the way that St Mirren have played in that first half, it's going to take something special or an error for Celtic to break down St Mirren, because they are so well drilled and so well organised that it's going to take something from Celtic to break that down.
Well, they've got that something on the bench, haven't they? They've got Jota. I mean, he has to come on at the second half, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he has to, and I think he will be. Just going back in now, he's walking back in to prepare himself. I think he'll be probably on at half time, but there's other players also that might come on. Tati's walking in also, he could be one, and that they just need a spark somewhere to get him going. There's a couple of factors. One, they can't rely on ball boys throwing the ball in quickly here at Mirren. I'm sure Stephen Robertson has told the ball boys just to let the ball kill that intensity, because that was a real ploy for Celtic at the start, especially at home, when I caught out Rangers, I caught out teams.
Yeah, the ball boys and girls were on fire.
Yeah, they were, but it actually helps the intensity of the team and how they play.
Yeah.
And it all works together, and that's not there, so they have to create their own intensity, and that's also missing a little bit. It's been too slow, as I said to you. Just going back to the goal also, if you compare it to the crosses that came in from Celtic from the right hand side, crosses that was almost, they weren't even drilled into the near post, they were drilled to the back post, and it almost didn't give Maeda an opportunity going in.
But Maeda's not going to win the ball against Fraser, Gallagher.
No, but it doesn't also give a midfielder an opportunity to get in there. We've seen Turnbull getting in one time, getting into the centre post, but that cross for O'Hara, who's a midfielder, just looped up at the back post, gives him the time and gives him the opportunity to take a risk to go into the box, and then it's about getting on the end of it, and the loop, and I think Turnbull had no chance really, because he was almost had a pick up player, and then O'Hara's just coming in at the back of him, height and strength, and it was a great header.
It was. Joe Hart did. He got his arm to it, but there was so much power in it, wasn't it? I mean, he just simply couldn't react. And Mark O'Hara just showing that desire that it has been, it's been evident, and it's been shining through the St Mirren performance throughout the first 45 minutes. It's going to be absolutely fascinating. Not just in terms of what Celtic do, but whether St Mirren, I suppose the longer they have this advantage, the more likely they are to maintain that energy, that desire,
something
and that
to hold on to, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it is. I mean, it's so vital when they come out at the start of this second half that they maintain that. There's going to be a reaction from Celtic. They'll expect that. That's what Stephen Robinson will be saying in that changing room. They've just got to keep doing what they did in that first half, in terms of their work rate, in terms of their organisation. Yeah, as the game goes on and Celtic make the changes and they bring out on fresh players. I mean, we're talking about Jota, but when you look at the bench, you know, Giacomakis, Haksabanovic, Matt O'Reilly, James Forrest on the bench as well, Hatate. They have got players who can impact the game, who have the ability to do one individual thing that's going to get them a goal. But yeah, I mean, it's been a huge surprise. I mean, the actual game up until St Mirren scored, you know, it wasn't a great spectacle. From St Mirren's perspective, it was excellent in terms of how they've managed to contain Celtic, but it wasn't a shot on target.
No, and that's what was missing from the Celtic game. They had lots of possession. They moved the ball, they worked it from side to side, they got the fullbacks forward, but there was no dynamic movement, you know, in those wide areas to really cut up in a 1v1 situation. For example, I don't think Kyogo's has he had any real...
He's hardly touched the ball.
Hardly touched the ball inside the box, and that's down, not to him. I think it's down that people don't play that ball through to him. They don't take an opportunity, a risk, and that's been just across in front of the St Mirren defence, and they've been very, very comfortable with that. They've sat with their back five. They've the three midfielders who are working extremely well across the pitch, killing the spaces, and then they've got a two up front when they can go and put pressure on the two centre halves. And if they won the ball, then they have that out ball up to the two of them if they do it properly, and then they grew into the game. And at times they broke also. The wing backs broke forward and they got decent enough crosses.
They got forward when they could, yeah.
Yeah. So that game plan from St Mirren has been very, very good. It's up to Celtic to break that game plan down, and they haven't been able to do it.
3 games in the SWPL this afternoon at Ainsley Park in Edinburgh, kicking off shortly. Spartans against Aberdeen. It's a 3 o'clock start at Excelsior Stadium for Celtic against Hamilton, and 4 o'clock for Motherwell against Glasgow Women, which of course is played in East Kilbride. In midweek there were wins for Hearts, for Glasgow City and for Rangers. We'll keep you across those matches as they unfold. In the English Premier League, half-time in the midday kick-off, Brentford 0, Arsenal 2. Remember, Arsenal going down at Brentford in the very first game of last season. A very different proposition, Arsenal, these days, with that 2-0 advantage. William Saliba with the opener, Gabriel Jesus with the second. Later it's Everton against West Ham. Sports Scene highlights tonight, 7:15 on the BBC's Scotland channel. The action from the 4 games yesterday, and extended highlights from St Mirren against Celtic, and of course the 3 o'clock kick-off, Motherwell against Hearts, which we will bring you live here on Sports. I'm with Stuart Mitchell, Stephen Craigan and Craig Levine. And on Wednesday night, we're on for the earlier time for the big game, 6 o'clock, Scotland against Ukraine, live from Hampden Park. Willie Miller, Craig Levine and Leanne Crichton among our guests for that. So it's live on the radio. Highlights will be on the telly, 10:40 on Wednesday night on BBC One. Still to come this afternoon, all the action from Fir Park. I saw pictures online. It's looking absolutely magnificent, the surface there in Motherwell. So that's to come live a little bit later. We'll have plenty of time to build up to that one, and of course to reflect on what by then will have concluded in Paisley. Can St Mirren hold on to this advantage? Can Celtic rediscover their form and fight their way back into the game? That goal by Mark O'Hara, incidentally, the first that Celtic conceded after 434 minutes, shutting out the opposition in the Premiership. Midway through, of course, their 7th game of the season. It is just a second goal that Celtic have conceded. That won't be the biggest concern, I don't suppose, for Ange Postecoglou. It will be the overall performance of his team, and certainly in terms of how blunt all things are relative, but they have looked blunt in comparison to what we've seen from them already this season. How easy is it, Pat, for them to come out after the break and suddenly click back into gear, or will they have been rocked a little bit by how they've performed in the first half?
I think it'll be more motivation, that goal, for them. I would expect that at half-time, just before half-time, to lose a goal like that. And they know that every point is going to be critical this season. They know that they've got to now score 2 goals, not just 1 goal to win the game. One would be get early in the second half would probably set them up to have a grandstand finish, and I think that will be the motivation now at half time to get out and really up the tempo of passing, movement, and see if St Mirren tire a little bit, maybe to get that early goal in this second half, and then maybe, of course, the changes that we talked about might happen also. We don't know yet. I haven't seen any movement on the sideline here yet, but we'll soon find out.
Incidentally, is the Celtic's change strip, is that causing any issues in terms of the clash with the home strip of St Mirren for you guys during the commentary? Because at times it seems right. It just, I thought there was this thing where if you were changing a strip, you couldn't have any item, whether it's socks, shirts or shorts, that clashed with the opposition. All the players on the pitch wearing the black shorts. And I've got to say, at times, just in the telly, it is just a little bit disconcerting.
All right. I didn't actually think about that, actually, from a player's perspective.
I just kind of feel that Celtic were wearing their normal strip. There would be much less of a clash than there is between the two. Anyway.
Is that down to sponsors?
Oh, probably,
contracts
Pat.
And so
probably.
on?
Probably.
Well, there is going to be changes, Rich.
No surprise. When you see, well, we've mentioned them both during the half-time chat. They are both coming on for the second half. And Jota, I guess, in particular, will be the one who the Celtic fans will be delighted to see heading out there. The side boards are going up. Certainly, Jota on, Maeda off. Is one of them, is it Hatate, I think I saw coming on there as well. So they've responded. Ange Postecoglou has responded at half-time. Can his team respond, or can St Mirren continue to do what they have done for 45 minutes and frustrate the champions? Live second half commentary here on Sports Sound with Stephen, Pat and Al Lamont.
Thanks, Rich. St Mirren yet to show, but just to confirm those two changes, Rio Hatate and Jota on for Maeda and Moy for this second period. So Ange Postecoglou wasting absolutely no time in trying to alter the course of this game, which he absolutely has to do. It has been a flat first half performance from Celtic, but you have to give credit absolutely to the home side for part of that. They have worked ever so hard and played well themselves and earned that one-goal half-time lead. Still 45 minutes to go. They're only halfway there, and Stephen Robinson, you would imagine, will have been reinforcing that message that they cannot feel that the job is anywhere nearly done, because Celtic, you wouldn't imagine, will play as poorly again in this second half. It will be St Mirren to get us underway. It's the goal scorer and captain Mark O'Hara who will kick us off. The referee sounds his whistle. St Mirren going from right to left as we look at it from the back of the main stand for this second period. And Abada picks up and immediately it's a first touch of the ball for Hatate in the middle of the park. And now it's McGregor. Taylor now just inside the St Mirren half. And Celtic will be looking to pounce quickly in this second period. It's Jota out on that left flank in place of Maeda. And Hatate patrolling the midfield. Callum McGregor, as he had done just before the interval, back in his normal position in the holding role, if you like, in the midfield, with Hatate and Turnbull ahead of him. Here is Callum McGregor, left hand side, plays it in to Hatate, holds off O'Hara. Turnbull tries to link with Hatate once more, but it breaks the way of Gallagher, who just launches it down the park. Brilliant first touch from Joe Hart, midway inside his own half, and then plays it out to the left hand side. He had to apologise to I think it was a Norwegian TV reporter in midweek in his pre-match warm-up. He actually hit her with the ball as he was warming up, but there was no chance. His pass there was going astray with a brilliant first touch. McGregor doing really well to get away from a couple of challenges of Bacchus and Erhard. Ball forward isn't as good. Kyogo can't get onto it. Fraser gets it clear out to the right hand side and out for a throw in to Celtic on their left flank. They have upped the tempo, it feels like, at the start of this second period. Here's Jota, slides it forward for Taylor on the left, tries to turn away from Strain, but it's picked up by Bacchus on the edge of his own penalty area. Ayonga with Jens right up his back, and he's run inside a free kick midway inside his own half. And with a couple of minutes gone in this second period, it's still St Mirren 1, Celtic 0.
Silly foul to give away that packet from Maurice Jens. You know, Ayonga's going nowhere. Celtic are kind of 30 yards into St Mirren's half. A needless foul.
Yeah, I think when you're that far away from your own position, though,
he's worried about.
He's worried just in case
what's
behind him. So I think that's probably the reason why he gave away the foul.
Here's O'Hara, keeping the ball off Abada. Now Tanser looks to try and get that through. I think he was looking for O'Hara, but it almost came for a younger. Ralston won it in any event, and then O'Hara fouls Ralston, and it will be a Celtic free kick just outside their own penalty area.
Yeah, it's important for St Mirren now to hold on a little bit at the start of this game. Celtic definitely have upped the tempo a little bit. They've got that quality on the pitch now. They're playing down that left side a lot early on with Jota, because he can spark them a little bit.
Here's Turnbull, left flank. Taylor grappling there with Bacchus, and actually Taylor's been penalised as he grabbed Bacchus around the neck as he tried to get forward, and Celtic player is the one who's been penalised. There will be a St Mirren free kick midway inside their own territory. You would imagine they're going to be on the back foot again for much of this.
Yeah, but they'll be delighted with fouls getting given away, because it's another 30 seconds wasted of time, and as the clock ticks down, you know, obviously we're at the infancy of this second half, but wee things like that St Mirren will enjoy.
St Mirren won their last couple of home games in the league, and looking to try and make that 3. It's been a while since they've actually managed that. 3 in a row. Last time in the Premier was May 2014.
Yeah, all the little things that Stephen talked about, just trying to kill the game, killing that sort of impetus that Celtic have got, and throwing the ball onto the pitch just kills it also.
Here's Ralston, halfway line, feeds it forward, looking for the run of Kyogo inside the penalty area. First touch, and the second touch knocks it across goal, but straight into the arms of Trevor Carson. He's had a frustrating afternoon so far, the little Japanese striker, much as the rest of his teammates have, and it wouldn't be too surprising to see Giacomakis thrown on relatively soon if things don't change for Celtic. Jens and Main battling for an aerial ball. It's Welsh who ultimately heads it away. It's Bacchus picking up though at the edge of the penalty area. Out to Strain it goes. It's his assist for the only goal of the game. This time his cross is headed away by Ralston, but the home fans really enjoying themselves this afternoon.
Very similar cross to the goal. It's maybe a little bit deeper, that's the only thing. But you can see again Mark O'Hara picking up that position, edge of the box, making the run round, almost round the back. And you know, I don't see a midfielder from Celtic could actually match him in the air if he gets into a good position.
Declan Gallagher lining up a long throw in from the left hand side, about 15 yards from the corner flag. Instead he goes low for Main. Main tries to knock it across goal, behind off Ralston. And it will be a St Mirren corner from the left hand side as they look to add to their advantage.
I'm really surprised there that Celtic didn't have a body in front of Main, Curtis Main. You know, you get one in front, and then you always then can pick up behind Curtis Main for that long throw in, but the first man has got to get to the ball, and that wasn't well organised.
Strain coming across to this left hand side to take the corner. 50 minutes on the clock. St Mirren 1, Celtic 0. Champions trailing as Strain curls one in right into the 6-yard box, away by Jens. Good defensive header. Abada gets it further clear. Bacchus goes and picks up, robbed by Hatate though. Hatate and Abada combine, and it's fed forward for the young Israeli, but across came Fraser. There was a free kick or a foul committed in the build up there. It'll go back for that free kick to Celtic. It's quickly taken, and Celtic have it moving. It's McGregor for Turnbull. Turnbull square for Taylor, midway inside the St Mirren half. Out to Jota on the left hand side, up against Strain, and in field he comes onto the right foot, clips it into the penalty area, away by the head of Marcus Fraser. McGregor trying to keep it alive, manages to get it to Jota, who goes down under the challenge of Main. The home fans on the far side aren't happy that the referee has given that free kick to Celtic, but it will be a Celtic set piece midway inside the St Mirren half as they continue to trail by a goal to nil. The free kick again quickly taken. McGregor feeds it forward looking for Kyogo. Gallagher ready, got in front of the Japanese and gets it up to the halfway line where Ayunga will just take it for a run down the right hand side. Main up in support, but not too many others in black and white as Ayunga just holds it up and he wins the side of throw in, and that'll do.
Yeah, he did well. I mean, carried the ball 20 yards up the pitch, forced a throw in. Again, it's St Mirren doing everything at walking pace, which will have been straight from Stephen Robinson's mouth at half-time and taking an age to take this throw in, but it's their prerogative to do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Kill it off. Stop that Celtic getting that real momentum.
Declan Gallagher lining up another long throw-in. He's been immense this afternoon as he, from the right-hand side, throws it in to the 6-yard box. Main up again. McGregor gets his head to it. Main's in there running. It's a second goal for St Mirren, and it's Oyunga who has knocked it into the back of the net. Curtis Main doing all the damage inside the 6-yard box. A cross goal it went, and there was Oyunga to tap in. It's St Mirren 2, Celtic 0.
Yeah, Celtic unable to deal with the long throw into the 6-yard box, not getting good contact in the first header, and then almost out-muscled a little bit. They're complaining to the referee and assistant that maybe there was a bit of pushing, but you got to deal with the first ball, and they weren't able to deal with it properly.
It's really poor defending from Celtic, but again, St Mirren wanted it more. The long throw comes in, they don't really clear it the first time. Curtis Main's role in the goals absolutely vitally. Out-muscles, out-jumps his opponent as the ball spun up into the air. Headers it back across goal, and Oyunga's got a tap in from 3 yards. Remarkable.
6 for the season for Oyunga, and what a huge goal that could be. St Mirren with a 2-goal cushion, and how does Celtic respond to this? They simply have not been in this situation, certainly not this season in domestic football, and St Mirren are absolutely loving it. But don't count Celtic out yet, as Jota picks up on the left hand side, goes down, no free kick. The referee allows play to continue. It's Strain forward for Oyunga. Back to Strain. Strain coming forward. St Mirren looking for a third, incredibly. Strain eventually halted. It comes still hard at the edge of the penalty area. Squeezes it through. Forward comes Erhan. And it's behind for a St Mirren corner. Well, listen to the roar from the home fans, Stephen. They are absolutely loving this.
And rightly so, Alistair. And rightly so. It's not often, as Richard pointed out, that St Mirren do beat Celtic. Still got another way to go in this second half, but a 2-goal cushion, and the fans are absolutely loving this.
Listen to that home crowd.
I see Celtic are going to make another change. Yakimakis is going to come on. I would assume maybe for Kyogo. He hasn't really been in the game.
St Mirren corner from the right-hand side. Yakimakis and maybe one other as the ball is swung in by Tanzer. Gallagher gets the header down, cleared away by Ralston as Celtic desperately tried to defend. Jota goes down again. Again, nothing given as Jens gets the ball cleared from the edge of his penalty area. Looks like Haksabanovic is also going to make an entrance. It's going to be a free kick against Oyunga. Celtic take it quickly. It's Hatate picking up and finding Welsh, but Celtic found wanting defensively. They are certainly Main just out-muscling his marker and getting the ball across goal, and Oyunga had the easiest of tasks to just nod it into the back of the net. As Jota gives it back to Taylor. Double change coming for Celtic to add to the 2 they made right at half-time. Yakimakis and Haksabanovic wait. Break and play. Hatate gets it back to McGregor. We've got 56 minutes on the clock here.
I don't know why Stephen Welch keeps going back into midfield when he has got 2v1 in the wide areas here. Get the ball wide, get your Abad on it, get Turnbull on it, and they are the creative players.
Here's Welsh for Abada, challenged by Erhan, out of play on this near side, the Celtic right for a throw-in. Ralston will have to wait just a moment as the changes come, and it's going to be David Turnbull who will be replaced, and also it's the number of Leo Abada that is shown. So Yakimakis on, and Haksabanovic also. And I wonder, Haki, will we see 2 through the middle, or will Kyogo change his position to allow Yakimakis that central slot?
2 through the middle. Kyogo will kind of play off Yakimakis, and of course Haksabanovic will play out in the right-hand side. So all the creative players we talked about are on the pitch now, but they need them badly. They need to score a goal fairly quickly.
Here's Hatate. marked closely by Mirren. Back the way it goes to Welsh on his halfway line. Stephen Robinson out, urging his players to keep up the work rate, which is absolutely going to be required in these closing 33 minutes as they try and hold on to the 2-goal lead they hold against the champions and league leaders Celtic. Jota forward for McGregor, left-hand side, down near the corner flag. 2 St Mirren players around him. He's just run it out of play, and it will be a St Mirren throw-in.
Brilliant from St Mirren, absolutely brilliant. Hounding down Callum McGregor. They're giving him no space, no time in the ball. Their work rate's been absolutely exceptional.
Throw into St Mirren down near their own corner flag on the right-hand side. It'll be taken by Marcus Fraser. Down the line it goes. Taylor heads it back forward. Giacomakis with a high boot there, penalised. And it's Strain, I think, who's stayed down, or perhaps Marcus Fraser across there, stayed down. Maybe got a Giacomakis boot to the head there.
Yeah, I didn't think it was too high. I think the ball was thrown into him, but it was away from him, and he had to stretch for it. But it just kills the game again from St Mirren's point of view. Just stay down, stay as long as you want. I don't think there's too much wrong. He's up now and he's walking. But it just kills that tempo, that impetus that Celtic are trying to find somewhere in the game.
Trevor Carson out of his penalty area to take this free kick out on the right-hand side. 58.5 minutes played. St Mirren 2, Celtic 0. Jota picks up, combines with Kyogo. Kyogo's ball forward is dealt with by Tanzer. Out it comes to this near side, the Celtic right, for the throw-in. Stephen Robinson is so animated down there, desperately trying to make sure his players stay in position, track the runners, everything that they've been doing so well thus far. It's Welsh square for Jens at the back for Celtic, just inside their own half. Forward for Taylor, and now McGregor. Back with Taylor once more, just to the left of centre. Clips it forward, looking for the run of Kyogo. Out of his goal comes Carson and clutches that before any Celtic player can latch onto it. Does look like Kyogo just playing slightly off Giacomakis as Trevor Carson has the ball and then launches it way over the halfway line. One for Main to try and challenge, but Welsh wins the header. It's O'Hara picking up, but he can't hold on to it, and it's Haksabanovic turns and knocks it back to Ralston midway inside his own half. Welsh square for Jens, and out to the left-hand side for Taylor. Almost an hour on the clock. St Mirren 2, Celtic 0. You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Sounds, BBC Radio Scotland Extra, as well as all of our frequencies, digital and online. Motherwell and Hearts to come. Can they match this one for excitement? As you said, Stephen, earlier on, perhaps not the most attractive game to watch, but as far as St Mirren are concerned, it's absolutely gone to plan so far.
Perfect performance from St Mirren in terms of negating what Celtic have been doing, but they'll come and attack.
Half an hour to go. Here's Hatate inside the penalty, gets a shot away, it took a deflection, and Trevor Carson goes down and easily able to gather. And that's really, I think, the first shot that he's had to deal with.
Yeah, I think it is. I can't remember him making another save in the game, which is incredible. And that was like a half save, you've got to say. It was a deflection, got himself in a good position. Hatate took the shot on, it was half blocked, and it kind of squirmed through to Trevor Carson.
Here goes Ayunga, scorer of the second goal, up against Jens, almost in the goal line, tries a little bit of skill to take him on. He's still got it left-hand side of the penalty area. Ayunga, back it goes to Bacchus. He wasn't fully concentrated there, didn't realise there's a man coming behind him, but he's got the ball once more, edge of the penalty area. Out it goes to Main on the overlap. Goes Strain, right-hand side of the penalty area. Another good ball in. Header comes in, it should have been 3. But this time St Mirren couldn't finish. It was O'Hara arriving again, but he couldn't get the header on target. It remains St Mirren 2, Celtic 0.
Really poor from Celtic again. Good build-up play from St Mirren, working the ball from left to right. And again, that chipped cross into the box. O'Hara arriving late again. I think he's got to get it on target. He rises ever so well, but probably just stretching a wee bit. But another massive chance for St Mirren.
It looks like he's gone for power. All he do is just let it hit his head, because he's so close into the goal, but 4 or 5 yards out. He's almost gone with power, and he's miscontrolled his header, and it's going to squirmed off his head. But again, brilliant play, and I've got to say, great play from Ayunga, holding the ball up, taking players into play, working it wide, and getting a good cross into the box.
Welsh forward into the penalty area. Gallagher's there to head it clear out to the left-hand side. Tanzer goes down under pressure. Haksabanovic, it will be a free kick. St Mirren's way, much to the dismay of the away support across to our right-hand side behind Trevor Carson's goal. But the home fans delighted. Celtic have enjoyed 81% possession in this game.
Well, listen, Al, possession is no good without the end product. We've always said it so many times. You have to have possession with a real purpose, and the purpose is missing today, no doubt about it.
Carson takes the free kick up towards the edge of the Celtic penalty area, headed away by Welsh and down by McGregor. Back to Ralston. 63 minutes played at the Smythe Stadium. St Mirren 2, Celtic 0. Celtic just lacking a cutting edge this afternoon so far. Can they find it? As Haksabanovic picks up right hand side, plays it forward for Hatate. Hatate was rather on his heels. Dunn comes across, wins possession, and then just knocks it out of play for a Celtic throw-in down in front of us on the Celtic right. Ange Postecoglou in a hurry to get the ball back into play. Haksabanovic takes the throw-in back to McGregor and back onto the halfway line for Welsh. Welsh steps forward, right hand side. Haksabanovic once more trying to get away from O'Hara as Ralston picks up right hand side. Good ball into the penalty area, headed away only as far as Callum McGregor, 30 yards from goal, out to Jota on the angle of the box. Comes out of the penalty area, tracked by Strain. Tries to get the cross in, it comes off Strain, and then Main's back there helping out, and Fraser gets it to Strain, who clears up to the halfway line. And Celtic pick up once more. It's Jens into Hatate. Hatate into the feet of Kyogo. Went for the 1-2 with Giacomakis. He was taken out of play there by Gallagher, off the ball. Yellow card to Declan Gallagher, and a free kick goes the way of Celtic.
Yeah, professional foul, wasn't it? It was in many ways it was a good professional foul for St Mirren,
yeah.
but because it was a nice little play from Kyogo and linking up with Giacomakis, and I think if he didn't foul him, he was beyond him and into a great position to try to get a strike on goal.
Ryan Strain had gone down off the ball as well, but this free kick to Celtic is in a very central area, probably just a bit too far out for anyone to consider going for goal. But Callum McGregor's the man who is over it. We've played 20 minutes of the second period. St Mirren have doubled their advantage. The goals coming from Mark O'Hara in the first half and Jonah Ayunga in the second. Hatate has taken over free kick duties here. It's about just over 35 yards, I would guess somewhere between 35 and 40, as Celtic look for a way back into the game. It's Hatate, plays it short to Ralston. Ralston out to the edge of the box, right hand side to Haksabanovic, left footed, curls it in. Jota gets the flick on. Giacomakis with a header on goal, well taken by Trevor Carson, and it remains St Mirren 2, Celtic 0.
I think it was Jens actually that got the final header on goal, but yeah, the cross comes in, it's low, it's flicked onto the back post. Jens gets up under pressure, but couldn't get anything on the header really. There was no pace in the ball, and Trevor Carson just plucks it out there.
Yeah, and then knocks it out of play from the clearance, and the throw-in's quickly taken by Ralston into Welsh. Now it is Jens out to the left-hand side for Taylor, back in field to McGregor. Square from Taylor to Welsh, just inside his own half, plays it forward for Ralston. A couple of yards in front of his manager, Ange Postecoglou, who's still impassive down there, watching his side, trying to get back into this game. It's Taylor out to the left-hand side for McGregor on the halfway line, and coming forward now, looking for options. Jota is the one he chooses on the left. Coming back the way, he's given ball to Ayunga on the halfway line. Really slack that from Jota, and Ayunga is away from Stephen Welsh. Back goes Hatate, it's out to the left-hand side. Ayunga still going. He's putting a power of work. Back with O'Hara. O'Hara turns into Jota, but manages to keep possession. Then he's challenged by Ralston. He took the ball, and here comes Kyogo, but he runs in to Scott Tanzer, and now Tanzer's going down, and might require a bit of treatment here. But St Mirren using all the tactics in the book, if you like, to just run down the clock as much as possible. We've played 66.5 minutes. It's St Mirren 2, Celtic 0.
Yeah, Tanzer was speaking to Stephen Robertson a couple of minutes ago, and there was, I think he was struggling a little bit, and in that particular tackle there, he's put his, he's got the ground.
Yeah, it looks like Richard Tate's going to come on for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tanzer's missed a few games with injury. He's only back as a substitute against St Johnstone, and his game is up midway through the second half, and it will be the reliable Richard Tate who can come on and play left wing back, and that's exactly what he will do for these the closing quarter of the game, as Celtic take the goal kick, trailing by 2-0. Still, they have to believe that they have the quality within the team to get back at least onto level terms. You do think even one goal would really lift their travelling crowd. As Hatate comes forward down the right-hand side, there's Tate involved for the first time, but he can't get it away. Haksabanovic curls in. Yakimakis with a header, downward header into the arms of Trevor Carson. Better from Celtic. Still, they can't find the goal. St Mirren 2, Celtic 0.
Oh, he's got to score. That was a great cross. Good tenacious work from Haksabanovic out on this right-hand side, getting control. It looked as if he lost it, but it put a great cross in. And there was good movement from Yakimakis to move off his defender, off the shoulder of his defender, but he's got to get better contact on the ball and knock it down into the corner.
The quality of the ball in from Haksabanovic is of the highest quality, and you're right, Yakimakis has to do better with the header. He's up, he's free, it's not a difficult header, he's only 6 yards out, and he headers it down into the ground and bounced up into Trevor Carson's arms.
Welsh out to Haksabanovic, right-hand side. Dunn gets something on the cross. Kyogo collects. McGregor now for Taylor, 25 yards from goal. Lines up the shot straight into the arms again of a grateful Trevor Carson. Well, Celtic are beginning to get the shots on target now, but none of them has really troubled the St Mirren goalkeeper, and it remains after 69 minutes, St Mirren 2, Celtic 0.
Again, a brilliant position from Taylor, getting himself into that position as almost an inverted full-back midfielder, and loads of time to get a shot into the corner. He hits it straight down the middle.
He caught it well enough, but he caught it well enough, but straight at Trevor Carson.
Celtic free kick just inside their own half, taken by Ralston, back to Welsh. McGregor picks up and tries to get things moving, finds Taylor just inside the St Mirren half on the left hand side, out to Jota, who's yet to make an impact. Can he do so here? Ryan Strain trying to stick with him. Jota gets the left footed cross in. Gallagher's there at the near post to meet it with a header. Back out it goes towards the corner flag, headed away by Fraser. Taylor trying to keep hold of the ball, but he hasn't been able to do so, and forward comes St Mirren on the counter. It's Oyunga looking to link with Main, but Jens was in the way, and he picks up possession and finds Ralston. He's caught by the challenge of Oyunga, and it will be a free kick to Celtic, and perhaps a word in the ear of the St Mirren striker. John Robertson settles for awarding the free kick. 20 minutes to play, St Mirren 2, Celtic 0. Here's Ralston on the halfway line for Taylor. Taylor coming forward, out to Jota. Jota again to run it. Ryan Strain, he skips away from him, the Portuguese. He's got a bit of room here now. Left footed cross once more, and flipped out the air by Trevor Carson before Haksabanovic can try and get on the end of it. And still St Mirren have the clean sheet, the 2-goal advantage. And again, there's a player down. It's Strain down once more as Trevor Carson just knocks the ball out of play. The Celtic fans are getting frustrated, as you can understand, but as you said earlier, Stephen, it's a textbook tactic from a team who's winning by 2-0.
Yeah, I think he's actually got a wee bit of cramp, so he'll be all right. He's back up on his feet. Yeah, but I mean, you'll do anything you can. It's not often you've got a 2-0 lead over Celtic with 20 minutes to go, so you do anything you can to kind of wind down the clock. But yeah, Celtic are putting a wee bit more pressure on St Mirren, certainly in this last 10 minutes, but without really having to pull out the best from Trevor Carson. They probably should have done better with a couple of their attempts, but St Mirren, for me, are still quite comfortable in the game package.
Yeah, they are. You know, you haven't seen the goalkeeper making one of those saves. Oh, what a save that was! It was almost straight at him, or that cross into the box. Even, you know, it was an easy cross for him to come and take. You would expect the goalkeeper to come and take it. So all of that has not happened for Celtic in and around particular area and golden zone right in the middle of the goal, and that's where St Mirren have defended really, really well.
There's been a change for St Mirren. It is Strain who's gone off to be replaced by Alex Gogic. Looks like he will.
He's going to centre half.
Yeah, going to centre half.
Fraser's gone out to the right hand side.
Indeed. Celtic about to make another change, and the final change of their own. It's Matt O'Reilly who will be asked to come on and try and turn this game back. in Celtic's favour. But here comes St Mirren down the left flank. It's Main up against Jens. Jens gets a good challenge in, but he'll knock it behind for a corner to St Mirren on this left-hand side. I mean, it's difficult to pick out a top performer for St Mirren, but Curtis Main, among others, has been tremendous. And the work rate from the whole team has been immense.
It has been, yeah, you're right. It's more of a collective performance from St Mirren. I think Declan Gallagher's had a very good game at the heart of the defence. I think the Younger's done well up front, Mark O'Hara, but you couldn't pick a fault in the St Mirren team this afternoon.
No, I think you're right. It's the collective. It's the way that they've worked and organised themselves. Even the three midfielders have worked so hard, shifting across, keeping distances right.
Here's a corner kick from Errihan, headed away by Ralston as Ryan Strain comes round this side and gets a round of applause from the home fans. And he, like the others we've been mentioning, has been excellent and provided the opening goal. As the ball's back with Trevor Carson inside his penalty area, Kyogo goes to make sure he has to pick it up, and the goalkeeper does just that before launching it downfield. Matt O'Reilly still waiting to come on as Carson knocks it long. McGregor gets the header to it, picked up by Bacchus. Now O'Hara does well to get that back to Richard Tate, just inside the Celtic half, fires the diagonal, looking for Main. Main gets the flick on for a Younger. Will he be able to keep it in? He can, right on the goal line, and back it goes now to Fraser, who's playing that right wing back position that had been occupied by Fraser, and off will come Greg Taylor to be replaced by Matt O'Reilly. And Packie, Celtic are really going for this.
Yeah, I think they'll shift to, I don't know what, probably three at the back. I would assume. I don't know. Let's see what the shape he comes up with at this moment in time. But he won't go in left back for sure, Matt O'Reilly.
No, you wouldn't have thought so.
McGregor might go in there.
It's all or nothing now for Celtic as Matt O'Reilly comes on, their fifth change of the game. St Mirren have a throw-in over on the far side. They've got 16 minutes left and they have a 2-goal lead as Declan Gallagher lines up the long throws from one of these that the second goal came. And here he comes once more, right hand side, again looking for Main. It comes across the 6-yard box, knocked away by O'Reilly, returned by Fraser, and this time Joe Hart comes off his line, grabs it and immediately bowls it out underarm for Ralston. Right hand side, feeds it forward for Jota, who's come out to the right with Haksabanovic switching to the left hand side, back with Welsh midway inside his own half. Now Jens forward for Hatate. Not sure any of the Celtic changes have worked quite as Ange Postecoglou would have hoped. St Mirren have continued to close them down, not allow them really any glimpses of goal, as McGregor picks up in the centre circle, closed down by Errihan, out to the left hand side for Jens on the halfway line. And now it's Haksabanovic back in field to his captain Callum McGregor. Square ball for Ralston. Ralston comes forward midway inside the St Mirren half. Jota right hand side into the penalty area, trying to find O'Reilly, but back went Errihan with a sliding challenge, and then the ball's come off Jota last, says the assistant, and it will be a St Mirren throw-in. And the St Mirren fans just applauding that throw-in almost as if it was a goal in itself.
Yeah, I actually thought it was a free kick.
I didn't.
Did you not?
I think Jota, since he's come on, has gone down awfully easy whenever he's been touched. I don't think there was much in it, to be honest.
Referee and assistant agreeing as Dunn takes the throw-in down the left. Ralston wins the header. It's out for another St Mirren throw-in. Charles Dunn just telling the ball boy, just take your time, there's no rush. Eventually he gets the ball though on the halfway line. Here comes the throw-in down the flank. It goes to Main. Main holds it in up against Jens, and then Ralston. Ralston comes in with a challenge, but he knocks it out of play once more. 14 minutes to go. St Mirren 2, Celtic 0. Celtic facing a first defeat of the league season and a first defeat in a year. As I was talking to Ange Postecoglou about pre-match, it's 38 games in the league, the equivalent of a full season since the defeat at Livingston back in September of last year. But they are 2 goals down here as Main tries to bundle his way towards goal, loses out eventually. Jota knocks it clear, but Gogic is there to nod it down to Errihan. And here's O'Hara on the left hand side, midway inside the Celtic half. Still he has it, he's given away though to O'Reilly on the halfway line. Back he goes, O'Hara trying to win it back. O'Reilly gets it to Hatate, now down the right hand side for Jota. First time ball in. It's a poor one from Jota, no Celtic player waiting there, and Fraser's header lands at the feet of Dunn, who just launches it long and then Main grappling with Ralston. Both of them hit the deck, nothing given. It will be a Celtic throw-in, which Joe Hart will take very quickly, midway inside his own half.
Yeah, it was only a poor cross from Jota because he had no targets in the box.
I thought the ball in was actually a decent ball.
Decent ball.
There was nobody there, and Giakoumakis has got to be in the middle of that 6-yard box when that ball comes in.
Here's Haksabanovic, left-hand side, up against Fraser, trying to tease his way past the defender. Hatate now on the angle of the box on the left-hand side. Haksabanovic once more, reverse ball for Hatate. Cross goal it comes, and a swing with the right foot of Charles Dunn, and he knocks it over his own crossbar. It will be a Celtic corner with 12.5 minutes of the 90 remaining. Celtic in a hurry, they trail by 2-0. Across comes O'Reilly to the right-hand side to take this one. Can Celtic find a way back into the contest? O'Reilly, left-footed, sends it into the penalty area. Yentz with the header, off target. It was a free header, and he's got to at least be trying to test the goalkeeper from there, Packy.
Yeah, well, he was outside the post when he got a header. I thought it was a decent header. Nobody round the back just to knock it in, but he just didn't get it on target. Again, it's been one of those days for Celtic.
Certainly has so far, and unless they've got a dramatic comeback in them, she certainly wouldn't put past them, but
well, they need something though. Yeah, there's a change coming for St Mirren, but they need something desperately in the next couple of minutes just to get a crowd going behind that goal, and also something that they can actually really put pressure on the St Mirren defence, because they're very confident at the moment, Stephen.
Yeah, they've not been tested really at all by Celtic this afternoon. Now, Younger's gone off for Greg Kiltie. He's had a great afternoon as a Younger, got his goal, but his work rate has been exceptional. His link-up rate time is good, and always making himself available. He runs in behind the defence. Good performance from the big chap.
Oh, he can be well pleased with his afternoon's work and his goal, which has just given St Mirren that little bit more comfort in the game. The 2-goal advantage they hold with 11 minutes left, and Trevor Carson launches the goal kick over the halfway line. Kiltie will go up and play just in behind Curtis Main as O'Hara wins the header. Main bundled to the ground, was he, by Ralston? No, but play continues anyway. McGregor pokes it forwards, and then there was a late challenge by O'Hara, and it will be a yellow card for the St Mirren captain with the foul on the Celtic captain, and Celtic take the free kick quickly. Welsh to Yentz, up to the halfway line for Hatate, left-hand side. Have St Mirren got the legs to continue this incredible work rate that they've put in thus far? Welsh for Yentz, 15 yards inside the St Mirren half. Now out to the left-hand side for Hatate, out to Haksabanovic, 20 yards from the goal line. Hatate left-hand side, across goal it comes. Giakoumakis is in there, it's cleared by Richard Tate from inside his own 6-yard box. Trevor Carson is down. He's back up now, but he's seemingly injured. McGregor will come once more. Can he get the shot away? Haksabanovic now picking up, can't find a way through as Kiltie closes him down. Yentz now. Trevor Carson still holding his arm as he tries to shrug off the injury. Now Charles Dunn is down inside his own penalty area. Hatate builds from the left-hand side, looks to take on his marker, gets it across goal, but straight behind for a goal kick, and now it will be a St Mirren goal kick, and perhaps Carson will get any treatment if he requires it. But,
I think he's all right. Yeah, it looked as though when he went to the near post when that cross got flashed in for Giakoumakis, who couldn't get a touch on it, but they obviously caught him in the shoulder. There was nobody behind Giakoumakis to tap the ball in, which it would have been after both Trevor Carson and him missed it.
9 minutes to play at the Smysa Stadium. St Mirren currently on course for a famous victory. 2-0 they lead. Celtic pick up. Kyogo fouled in the referee's eyes by Erhan. Quickly taken free kick out to Haksabanovic, running at Fraser, midway inside the St Mirren half, left-hand side as Celtic come forward. No way through though, has to go back to Hatate. Hatate square for O'Reilly. O'Reilly looking to get it onto the left foot. Brilliant block by O'Hara. Breaks to McGregor, left-hand side is Hatate. Haksabanovic gets it back to him once more. And then Haksabanovic, the Montenegrin, takes a shot, or it's a poor trundling shot into the arms of Trevor Carson. And with 8.5 minutes left on the clock, it's St Mirren 2, Celtic 0.
Wrong decision, absolutely. He had plenty of time to pick a pass or or tried something different and taken on that shot, and it trundled through to Trevor Carson in the St Mirren goal, and takes the again the momentum out of it, and he just whacks it long, and Jens puts it out for a throw, and St Mirren very, very comfortable.
Throwing over on the far side to St Mirren, which funnily enough there's no one rushing to take it. Midway inside the Celtic half as they try to run down the clock and hold on to this precious 2-goal advantage they currently hold. Right hand side they have possession through Kiltie, back it goes to Fraser. Right hand side of the Celtic penalty area, given away though by Fraser. McGregor picks up, Haksabanovic back there, plays it out from the back. Forward comes Celtic, it's O'Reilly for Hatate, midway inside his own half still. Ralston picks up just inside his own territory. Main and Ralston come together as Jota picks up possession, back to McGregor inside the centre circle, out to the left hand side for Haksabanovic. Can Celtic set up a grandstand finish? It's O'Reilly inside the penalty area, can't get there, and then a clearance from Gallagher. He was fouled by Giakoumakis, and it will, I thought he was fouled, looks like it's just got out for a throw-in on the far side to Celtic.
Yeah,
Haksabanovic picks up.
I think the ball boys have been well conditioned not to give the ball back quickly to the Celtic players.
Jota into the penalty area it goes. Trevor Carson's ball all day long as Ralston goes into Charles Dudley, earns himself a yellow card, and that is frustration on the Celtic fullback's part, with his side trailing by 2-0 and 6.5 minutes left.
Frustration earlier, Stephen, wasn't it, when he got blocked off himself in the middle of the pitch by Curtis Main.
He's had a tough afternoon, as Tony Ralston, in terms of physically. Curtis Main and a younger, he's been involved in many a tussle with him there, and just frustration. You're right, Packett.
St Mirren on course to go third in the league, above Livingston on goal difference. Hearts can go third themselves by beating Motherwell later. We'll bring you full commentary of that one, but it'll have to go a long way to try and beat the drama of what we've got in store this afternoon at the Smythe Stadium, with St Mirren leading by 2-0 against the champions of Scotland, the league leaders, seemingly unbeatable Celtic side under Ange Postecoglou for the last year. But St Mirren have a 2-goal advantage with little more than 5 minutes on the clock. Tate with the throw-in for St Mirren, down deep in Celtic territory, left hand side for St Mirren. Tate looking for options. Main comes in, offers himself, back to Tate it goes, down near the corner flag. It's Curtis Main, surrounded by Celtic players. Somehow still he's got possession down in the corner flag, looking to try and win the corner if at all possible. Still he's got the ball. I mean, it's incredible strength from Curtis Main. Eventually Celtic knock it out of play. It will be a St Mirren corner, St Mirren throw-in down at the corner flag, but it's incredible play from Curtis Main.
It is. I mean, how often do you see somebody taking the ball into the corner and they get out-muscled? He had 3 Celtic players around him there for about 30 seconds.
Curtis Main's goal return has often been something that has been criticised, but his work for the team, the job he does up there as a hold-up striker, has to be commended, and certainly today.
Yeah, and I think his partner also, Oyunga was, I thought he had a really good game also, and they've been a handful for the Celtic defence, but also, you're right, they contributed to the team so well.
Forward comes Celtic, left hand side, it's Hatate, but less than 5 minutes of the 90. There will be, of course, stoppage time to be played as Jens picks up inside the centre circle. Celtic need 2 goals to preserve their unbeaten record at the start of this league season. 3 if they're to keep up the maximum points, as Ralston comes forward down the right hand side, almost at the goal line, gets the ball to the near post. There's Carson to collect. He has had a good afternoon as well. And it remains St Mirren 2, Celtic 0, with 4 minutes of the 90 left to play.
Looks a tired player now, Tony Ralston, doesn't he?
Very. You could see it in that cross. He had no energy left after making the run.
Yeah, and that's always a danger when you haven't played a lot of games.
Jens has lost that to Kiltie. Kiltie was taken down as Jens tried to recover, and again Don Robertson thought about playing the advantage. There wasn't anything really for St Mirren for the ball staying alive, and so it's pulled back for a free kick, and this will be to their benefit. It's a free kick about 35 yards from goal, central area. But again, it's more than that, a chance for them to kill the clock. As Ethan Erhan stands over the ball, and the home fans are absolutely jubilant here, as it looks like their side are destined for the 3 points. Still a bit of work to do as the free kick's taken out to the right hand side. Fraser doing well to keep possession though, down near the corner flag. He's given it away eventually, and it's worked forward, and it'll be a Celtic free kick for the challenge of Gogic there on Giacomakis. Celtic have tried to get the ball moving. Haksabanovic has gone down off the ball. Play continues though, as Celtic have possession inside their own half still though. 2.5 minutes left. St Mirren 2, Celtic 0. Here's Haksabanovic. He loses out though to Fraser, and then Fraser shoves him to the ground. It will be a free kick to Celtic, and possibly another yellow card coming here. In fact, it's not for Fraser, it's for Bacchus for something that happened elsewhere, but play is back underway. It's Haksabanovic in from the left, into the penalty area. The cross comes, headed away by Gogic. Ralston picks up midway inside the St Mirren half. It's Jota now, right hand side, tries to thread it for Ralston. It's asking an awful lot of, as the guys are saying, a very tired Tony Ralston. It's knocked away out for a throw in this near side to Celtic. Less than 2 minutes to the 90 left. Jota with the throw in for O'Reilly, almost at the halfway line. Back to Jota it goes. The Portuguese winger hasn't been able to provide the cutting edge his manager was hoping for at half time. Welsh comes forward, finds Hatate midway inside the St Mirren half, plays it square for O'Reilly. Back with Hatate. Jota tries to squeeze it through into the penalty area. It's cleared only as far as Kyogo. Now McGregor, left hand side. It's Haksabanovic on the angle of the box, looking to try and find room for the cross or the shot. Does dink it into the penalty area. It's a header coming in from Jota, but it's gone wide of the right hand post. Trevor Carson breathes a sigh of relief, and it remains into the final minute of 90. St Mirren 2, Celtic 0.
It kind of sums up Celtic's day when they do get the opportunity. They haven't created too many of them. They haven't been able to hit the target properly. Giacomakis' header, that header there, it was a good opportunity to get it on target. I go back to Greg Taylor's shot straight down the middle, all of that. So it's just hasn't worked for them today. And St Mirren have really done exceptionally well to organise themselves and really, and of course scored the 2 goals.
Giacomakis looking to feed Jota. Good sliding challenge from Tate. Under pressure from the Portuguese. Allowed to run out of play by Charles Dunn. It will be a goal kick as we tick towards stoppage time. And again, Charles Dunn just taking his time getting the ball back to Trevor Carson as we await the fourth officials' boards, which will tell us that there are 4 minutes of added on time. 4 minutes for Celtic to find 2 goals in the game.
Can't see it.
Well, you're a brave man, Tommy. I don't think there'll be too many St Mirren fans already thinking they've got the 3 points in the bag, but it's looking ever increasingly like that as Kiltie picks up on the right hand side, goes away from goal, plays it off Welsh, and buys the side a throw in on the far side. Down near the corner flag, and throw in for St Mirren. But there's been some effort, you have to say, from St Mirren. The hard work and also the quality have been in evidence for the entire 90 minutes, and now Main has earned his side a corner. And does Celtic deserve anything more than it looks like what they're going to get here, Packy?
Well, it doesn't look like they're going to get anything out of this game, and it's a big wake-up call in many ways. From a point of view, you can be playing as well as Celtic have been playing, but there is going to be days where you have to grind it out. You've got to get some sort of result, and you can't give away goals like they have given away, and then when you're not on fire up front, then you're going to end up losing it. Today was about getting the result and getting through this one. Maybe the changes, maybe the 6 changes hasn't helped. Certainly that, you know, you haven't got the continuity and so on, but I think it's more down to the way that St Mirren actually played. I think they've been really good, well organised, real handful.
Curtis Main in the last 15 minutes has been exceptional in terms of holding the ball up. He's won about 4 or 5 corners.
Just won another one.
Throw-ins. Brilliant. I mean, you know, it doesn't look like it's nothing creative, it's nothing skillful, but it's doing a job for the team, and it's been very, very effective.
Yeah, St Mirren corner. 2 minutes of injury time have been played. 2 minutes left. St Mirren have another corner kick on the right-hand side. 2-0 they lead. They are on course for almost an historic victory, you would say, as Haksabanovic takes his frustration out on Mirren. I think it was down at the corner flag. It will be a free kick, and there's a coming together of a number of players there as frustrations perhaps boiling over. But St Mirren's tactics are just trying to keep the ball in the corner, but they're absolutely entitled to do it.
It's been over there, I mean, that's been about a minute and a half, 2 minutes the ball's been in that corner. And yeah, Haksabanovic just obviously really frustrated, barges into the back of Mirren, and another free kick and another 30 seconds wasted.
Free kicks taking shots, and it's played off. Haksabanovic once more for a throw-in down near the corner flag. St Mirren was using all their experience to take the sting out of the game. It's taking the throw-in into the chest of Main. St Mirren have it still down deep in Celtic territory, and eventually it will be a Celtic goal kick, but they've got under a minute of the 4 added on to try and get the ball up the other end, but it looks like a lost cause now as Hattati picks up on the left-hand side for Celtic. He overruns it but manages to keep possession, but then knocked out of play, and Haksabanovic getting involved once more, and he's earned his side himself a yellow card late on in this game, and his side are going to get nothing from the game. And for the first time this season, Celtic are going to fall to defeat in the league. And Celtic thought they had a free kick there, I think, but it's a throw-in which is going to have to be taken, and all this is not helping them remotely. Eventually the throw-in is taken. It's Haksabanovic on the left-hand side. Celtic looking for what would simply be a consolation now. Jota, right-hand side of the penalty area, on the left foot, back onto the right, stands up to the back post. Hattati wins the header. Across the 6-yard box it goes, takes first to it, just lobs it over his head. There goes the final whistle. The home fans celebrate an absolutely amazing victory in Paisley this afternoon. Hard earned, to say the very least, but full credit to St Mirren for a phenomenal performance. Goals in the first half from Mark O'Hara in the very late stages of that first period, heading in from Ryan Strain's cross, and then early in the second half Curtis Main providing the assist for Jonah Junga to score St Mirren's second. And Celtic had been pretty toothless up until that point. They did threaten a couple of occasions to get back into the game, but really they couldn't muster anything that Trevor Carson had serious trouble with. And so for the first time in over a year, Celtic are beaten in the league. You have to go back to the 19th of September when they lost at Livingston for their last defeat in the Scottish Premiership. They will stay top of the league, of course, by a couple of points, but full credit to St Mirren. It's all about them this afternoon. A win that takes them up to third place for the time being, at least. A fabulous victory, a first at home in the league to Celtic since the 4-0 in 2010, and this one will also live long in the memory of the fans who were here to witness it today. It finished in Paisley, St Mirren 2, Celtic 0.